In 1662, a Virginia law defined the status of a child born from a black and a white union as being the same as the mother. So if a black person and a white person had a baby, then the child was the race of the mother. So I guess if a white woman had a black man's baby, it's a white baby. Okay, got it. Right. The status of the child, and of course, the black man probably get killed for that. The status of the child of a white mother and a white father was determined by the status of the father. What? Okay, that I didn't get that, but yeah, let's keep going. In the mid 1700s, it was not unusual to see white women in the slave markets buying black slaves after carefully examining their genitals. Interesting, right? It's not funny, but okay. Black females were routinely purchased by white men as sexual playthings and breeders. So there was a lot of sexual exploitation that took place. Let me read it again. In the mid 1700s, it was not unusual to see white women in the slave markets buying black slaves after carefully examining their genitals. Black females were routinely purchased by white men as sexual playthings and breeders. Another fact, during President Lincoln's reelection campaign in 1864, the Democratic Party circulated a pamphlet that introduced a new word, miscegenation, claiming that Lincoln wanted to mix the races. Miscegenation is spelled Miscegenation. Okay, interesting. All right, so the criminalization of black sexuality. Maybe Shannon Sharp should read this part. Let's see here. It says, within 4 years after the first 20 Negroes arrived in Jamestown, Virginia in 1619, were traded into servitude. A black female was charged with having sex with a white male. By 1623, she was a freed woman who could do anything except engage in sex with white men. Yet it was white males who were driving the practice of interracial sex. In some ways, it made sense for white men to look for sexual partners outside their race. Of the 1,209 white persons in the Virginia colony in 1623, white men outnumbered white women by 4 to 1. The few white women who did come to the colony to work as maids were quickly paired off with white men. The remaining white men often found black women a convenient and in some cases preferable. I know I prefer black women, so what about you? Black women are the most beautiful women on earth, so can't hardly blame them for wanting a black woman, but you can blame them for taking what did not belong to them. So preferable substitute, they found that black women were, in some cases, a preferable substitute for white women. Despite the popularity of interracial pairing, many colonialists decreed it a violation of both God and man's law. Thanks to his penchant for seducing black women, Hugh Davis, a white colonist, caused the word Negro to be entered into the criminal codes of the colonies. Caught in the act, Davis was officially charged with abusing himself and defiling his body, not her body, by lying with a Negro woman. For committing a sexual act with a Negro woman, Davis was physically beaten before a group of black spectators and made to acknowledge his lustful and unlawful sin. However, public whipping and humiliation were to no avail. Interracial sex continued unabated, because once you go black, you never go back. The sexual linkage between black women, and white men have become a part of American culture. Interesting. Romance and this was interesting. These are these little facts that you just don't know. This is wild. Okay. Romance and the ruling class. For centuries, white male and black female sexual liaisons have been an expected and even accepted custom, a natural result of the power inequalities between the races and the sexes. White males had unlimited prerogative to use and often abuse black females for their own gratification, with or without permission from her or any member of her race. This is especially true during slavery when black women had no way of resisting the advances of their owners. This inequitable and exploitative tradition continued long after slavery had been abolished. For white men, the miscegenation ritual became a symbol of white manhood and racial dominance. So they made this part of their culture, raping black women.